How's it going? Okay, I'm doing another Serendipitous Deck Sermons read today, and the card that jumped out at me was the Queen of Hearts, which I have been wanting to do. I brought it to Scotland with me to do because that's where I found this card. Anyway, today is the day for it, and it started talking the second that I picked it up. So with 3 whole pages of stuff, I had to ask it to stop. I didn't realize this before as well, but it actually is a 2-sided card. So we have the Queen of Hearts on this side, and then there is just like a Jack of Spades on the other side, and that's just how it is. And then I went through because I'm like, maybe it's not the same Queen of Hearts, but there isn't one other Queen of Hearts in the deck. Actually, side note, I did find 3 cards yesterday, but this is the issue. They were together, and I have this rule that I only pick up 1 card when it's by itself, because you'll be surprised how often people drop decks of cards around the world, and I don't, I see one and then I see another and I'm like, these are not to be picked up, these are not for me. 1 card at a time. Okay, so I actually kind of initially got a bit of a Hecate energy from this, because more so specifically because this Queen of Hearts energy was here, and it felt immediately kind of intimidating. Am I ready? Actually, because of the message that this is, let's just take a deep breath together. Alrighty. Yes, you are a spiritual being having a human experience, and you are very much welcome in this space. My name is Megan, and this is Woven Existence and the Serendipitous Deck Sermons series. So, unsure if you are ready. You very much are. This is an energy collective read on what's going on right now. Mine, I try to do things so they'll align with an individual or another, and a group would be cool. But then it ends up being that I kind of, I don't know, I collectively energy read, and that's something I just feel very at ease with. And so this is what that is. And it's it's immense. I'll just read what there is here, and I'll try to make sense of it, because a lot of it's just a channel. So this unsureness about whether you are ready for the things that you've asked for the person that you've already become them, and that person is aligned with your dream future that you're seeing for yourself, and you continue to work towards that and allow that to come in and manifest and all this sort of stuff. But in the greater sense as well, I think that also applies to kind of all of humanity, and this rhetoric we have about ourselves and whether or not we are deserving of better or ready for better. And then specifically with the way that media or news is very predominantly bad news, and then doesn't even inform people of all the things that actually should be reported on, etc. It's if you look at it from that scope, it's oh, there's a ways to go, and that can just reinforce this idea we haven't changed, there isn't movement happening. Energy says differently. And your insides and grounding and insides, your intuition, your spirit team, angels, the earth, they'll say differently than what you will get if you ask a human that is not necessarily listening to the things other than humans. Okay, so strong intimidation, strong intimidating female. What the fuck is this? Intimidated. Oh yeah. Then there was this energy of oh no, it's intimidated by one's own feminine. The divine feminine energy within each of us and its capabilities, question mark. Are you afraid of that? Are you intimidated by your own divine feminine? You don't have to answer right now, but we're getting into this. Then it felt this is a mark of graduation from a smaller rank or placement or whatever it is, and skipping steps towards ascension, because there's not, well, there'd be a knight in between the two of these if we were in a tarot deck, but I guess there isn't in a card deck, so then it would work in that. Anyway, also there just being this kind of symbolism of like the spades are a dark color and then the hearts are a lighter color, of it literally having to go from your shadow or living defined by your shadow and the parts of you that like hide within, so that like, you know, within your ego and stuff like that, that keep you from the potential of what it is that is light or good, or living in wholeness of acceptance of your shadow and light together and moving towards this one, because it's like, we'll get there. Okay, so um this is a signifier you have done the work. If you're unsure if you are ready, you are. You have always been the royal. It has just been about believing it, living it, and then loving yourself in your truest form, rather than living in shoulds and pressure and judgment, and most specifically, comparison. Big let go of comparison energy is what I'm getting from this moment, from this energy read, because these pop up when what it is that's going on collectively is represented within the cards. So, sorry, it's just all awesome. I just want to read the thing, but also want to chat forever. Okay. Easier than, oh yeah, easier than you thought. So it's like this version of yourself that you're stepping into that you've felt possibly even intimidated by the thought of, becoming, because it's like you've been, the idea of it seems like someone who would have to like be succumbing or rising up to a certain amount of pressure and judgment and like responsibility and stuff. But now that you've took the steps to get there, it's easier than you thought it would be, because you've let it be easier, because it's just coming second nature to you, because you already are that person. But when you look way ahead of it, it's like, how the fuck did they get there? But like when you actually take all the little steps, then it's easy. Wait, oh yeah. So then it felt like, what is the energy feeling of this card? And I got like the weight of a gold bar, because it was fully fucking glowing. Really immense, rich power and light, and rich was specifically in the way that like food flavors can be rich, like dark chocolate or something like that, not necessarily monetary wealth. Glowing, and then it felt like this energy of, bottle is the wrong word, but that's kind of the only way I understood it at the start, but it's like fast wind and like easy moving, quick, powerful energy that is calmed to be within a being. So you're in control right now of yourself in a way you never have been before, and in flow at the same time. So it's not a moment of being controlling. It is, you are in control of the things that you can control, and you are in flow with the things that you cannot. So there is massive wholeness to this moment. I feel like just the fucking immensity of this, I keep like almost feeling like I'm out of breath when I'm saying this. This openness to learning, which feels like a massive shed of the ego, of the fears that are around whether or not you know something, right? So because it doesn't, and this is an interesting word it came up with, but I say what it says, um, open to learning, because it doesn't now tempt your ego into shrinking you anymore, just to be, just because of what you don't know yet. Okay. And then it got into like a very specific part of this, which I just, it's like I want to hug something that's in front of me and it's so big I couldn't fit my arms around it. And I'm sitting here in so much love and appreciation for the fact that I'm feeling this. So I'm really grateful that I get to share it with you. And I invite you to like allow your body to feel how it feels as I read this, because it was huge for my heart. It was huge. Okay. So, very specifically, this is like noting a moment of cis men accepting their feminine. Also, I would say those who are much more comfortable with their masculinity or divine masculine side of themselves, which can present however, or in any gender in certain ways. But this just feels very specifically like it's a cis men accepting their feminine in the shift that changes things going forward. Now, becoming comfortable with one's divine feminine is something that literally all of us are getting used to, no matter what gender or sex we are, because of the myths, the balances that have been a part of this. And a part of that also has to do with accepting what it means to have a divine masculine side that isn't based in an understanding of masculinity through a toxic or patriarchal lens. There's many parts of this. This is what this card is talking about, though, is really getting, yeah, like I just felt like this humongous release happening, a realization of soft power within, inner feminine, inner knowing, and listening to their bodies, listening, hearing others, love, facing something that has been put off. I almost wrote scared, but it's like you'd have to look at something long enough to know that you were afraid of it or not, right? This hasn't even gotten that kind of attention. It's been shunned within so many of us for so long. And particularly people who are forced in one way or another to have like a masculine front based on what it is that we understand masculinity to be under the current structures of humanity, right? Or society, human society. Anyway, a knowing. Okay, so it's just a shift because it's like there's a knowing all of a sudden that they're not alone in having this part of themselves, and in the fact that it's actually beneficial to engage with. And this feels like a huge shift in attention and an ease in changing in those ways. Even a normalization of new ways. Okay, I'm getting as well that it's not something that'll be necessarily something everyone can speak about right away, but this is happening on an energetic level. That's massive. The fact that it's happening at all. Yeah. Okay. Ease, ease because I just skipped the E altogether in that word. They don't have to hold up a front anymore. This is where the release feeling comes from. It's just like, oh, there's so much tension just like fucking getting released. And I love this for everybody. Ease because they don't have to hold up a front anymore, pretend, hide, and there is a loosening feeling that they're included too. Oh my God, I love this part of the message as well. That they're included too in softness because they're giving themselves that in themselves, which is a realization that you must include yourself first. It's not about other people always making space for you. You are allowed to make that space inside of yourself, even if no one else is making that space for you. Does that make sense? I'm not gonna explain that. It just feels very like, yeah, okay. Allow yourself to be included. Okay. A step. This is a step, and it is a small step, but is a huge, huge, huge movement towards community and how it could feel to be here on this planet. The taste, right? And I will interject with my own message that ties into the start of like the love that we can experience inside of our own hearts, inside of any given moment, just because like some random thing happens in our life or whatever it is. You've experienced them. we have access to that feeling at all times, and we have the capability of creating that in a much bigger way, as far as it being something that all humans are just born into life understanding is like a norm to feel, rather than it being something that's like special to feel. And this isn't to say that there's only ever all positive things that happen. That's not life, but there's an acceptance of like the immensity of love that we are worthy of, that we still haven't collectively gotten there yet. This is that shift. Because that's how community starts to make more sense. Right? And then there's steps after that, like how trust is built within ourselves and outside of that, because of the softness that we practice with ourselves inside as we change or move through things, because it's not about harshness and pressure and judgment, and therefore there's less of those kind of energies outside of ourselves because they're not inside of us anymore, and there's no fucking stopping us. Okay. Oh yeah, and then I decided to like look at the card a few different ways, which I don't always like. I was like, okay, I have to flip this over and see what the energy is from the other side, like when I'm like actually looking at it. But I first turned it and it was like, okay, it's the same face, right? Unless I have like minute details I'm not seeing. Anyway, but because it's like, I'll just read it. Every detail, like, okay, like a trip, like on a hallucinogenic, or maybe in other mindset or like perception changes, but where like, or after a meditation or something, and you walk out into the world and all of a sudden like every detail is like really, really amplified and very obvious to you, and you're like, whoa, there is so much more going on than like in any given moment. Ooh, watch A Peaceful Warrior, by the way. That movie is like, you just don't need like to go the hallucinogenic route if you don't want to, if you watch that, as far as like mindfulness and realizing everything's presence and the like vibration of energy that continues endlessly through every single thing that exists. Okay, and your connection to it, therefore the flow between you and everything around you. And so it's like when you start to give space to what is going on within you, all those details, and you're not judging it harshly and like bearing down on it and being in a tension mindset and like allowing flow and ease and love and self-acceptance, then you see that in everyone else. You see this like, there's beauty around you in the world, and like it's like your eyes are seeing a completely new world, except for it's the same world, your perception change, which is why mindset matters like so much. Okay, flip the card, and every detail, all of a sudden it's like, oh, even her face, and her face matters, and everything matters. Okay, every face has a story. Yeah, this is where my heart just felt like it expanded like so fucking bigger than my body, and I mean my chakra, I guess, but like um opening, opening. And I was like, this is like immense. I don't always feel like, am I in a safe place to be that open, like in the world, like I have work tomorrow and that kind of like mindset. And it was like, fuck, I actually feel safe to unfold. That's massively different. It feels like the energy grid that I'm in has more space for it than it ever has before. I literally wrote the F word down because it was that intense. Okay, and then have we ever been here together before? In that feeling, in that experience. And then these are like kind of directly from me, my soul self, to you, whoever finds this. Do you remember this from before? From before you came here? That's what we can create here. But you have to know it inside of yourself to allow it here. Okay, and then I flipped it because I'm like, all right, what's the other side say? I feel safe to have a look, right? And it was like immediately stilled, not halted, not restrained, not like it was negatively impacted in any way, just like stilled, this like expansive. I feel like I need more words that are like love, but they're different. So love feeling. Stilled the opening when I flipped up the jack. Cold like a lake, quiet, alone, still. That is within. It's a part of you, but you are now allowing more. So it's like your inner self has this like massive, placid, beautiful lake. Just because it's cold, it's not necessarily a negative thing here, right? Now, though, you have lit this like massive bonfire that's beside it that is just going to be ever burning. You don't really have to add any wood to, because the fuel for this fire is like your self-acceptance. It's your love. It's your allowing of yourself to become expanded, as far as like your understanding of your self-worth and the role that softness and like the feminine side of you, whatever way that shows up in the world, means. Oh my god, I lost it. Where is it? All right, big bonfire beside the lake that you can invite others to, that actually makes more room for yourself to have, because like, yeah, you're attracting in parts of yourself that probably you never even knew existed. And they're not even just like a feminine side or things that are in any way something you thought you would encounter via, or by inviting in, giving space to the divine feminine within yourself. But like, you've built this beautiful safe structure that's warming, so it's going to attract in parts of yourself that you've never expected to meet, and change happens at the pace that you're able to handle it. So just be aware of that. Okay. And then also sometimes it just takes like, there's pauses. Be patient. You are the beacon for what it is you are attracting in, regardless of whether it's come yet or not. More of yourself to have space to thrive. Yes, that's what you've made space for, right? So, oh yeah, and then I looked at this flower, and it gave me a reminder of that image of when I think it's like a young girl, or maybe it's just like some female creature. I was gonna say person, whatever. Possibly from like the 60s or whatever, puts a flower in the barrel of a gun. So like that image, which reeks. Usually that's used in a negative context, but whatever. I'm saying the words that come. I question them sometimes, but I'm saying what comes out. Gentle, it's like it reeks of using a feminine force against something that is like today's version of masculinity, or a toxic version of masculinity, because today's doesn't even feel like fair, but like, literally something that's phallic shaped that kills. And it's like, is that how you see yourself? Could we not have created something? No, we couldn't have. We created what it is that we created for the reasons that we created them. But like, our expressions through our human form have as much to do with like making things in our own image as the Bible puts it. Like, it, we can do better. Either way, let's move on. Gentle and slow, passive and firm, grounded. Flow, powerful, power. And then power of all kinds, every element, whole. You've been doing some really beautiful work. Because if you're coming across this, you are a part of this energy being something that is evident right now. You're doing enough. Like, seriously, you are doing enough. So confronting yourself came up then after this. Because to be honest, meeting the divine feminine, even in my own self, was something that at times has intimidated me. So it literally doesn't have to be someone who's a cis man that this is occurring with, but there was such a specificity to that being a group of people who are experiencing this energy shift that it was like, now we are making some waves. We've literally all been making waves the entire time. We can't help it. You're an energetic being amongst an energy grid. You're making waves. Decide what they are. Now that you are conscious of the fact that you're in charge of that. But, you know, it takes us all to be whole here and to be love and to create what it is that, is going forward. I just don't feel like it's like my place to speak on it. I see isolation and lostness and like, confusion and amongst so many people, but it really feels like there's an identity crisis based on past stereotypes of what it is, through the cis community of who you're supposed to be, who you're not supposed to be, like based on a body part. And you're just so much more than the physical form that you were born into. And also, that experience matters in its own right, because this planet makes it so. And like, that's a part of the experience that's here. It's not to be shoved to the side or say that it doesn't matter. It's a part of it. Um, yeah. But it being one that, if any people could just feel at home in their own skin in one way, shape, or form, as far as like the outer world saying things about it, it's up to you. That's your journey. It shouldn't be should it on, just like so many parts of human life, seriously. So the confronting of yourself that you have done within is brave, and it is something that you do with much courage. So know that. Okay, so then I got this feeling of the core of the earth, or well, a connectivity to it, and I think it was the word grounded, and I'm like, okay, yeah, let's feel like further. And it was like the energy, the communication that I was feeling inside of me went like straight to the core of the earth, like so that's where the rest of this comes from. It holds, I've had trouble like getting the words. It was like a feeling that I couldn't fully word, so I'll read what's here. The core of the earth holds a place for us all. Every being on the planet, it knows us. A part of each of us lives there before our physical form is ever laid to rest or scattered here. Scattered if you're ashes, not like in a sinister way. It burns and it swirls with raw, powerful energy that is connected to each of us. Home can be whatever you understand it to be, but you always, always, always have a home here, they say. It is us. Before we were us. Like each of us, before we were in human form, in physical form, we're a cell in another person. It had us there before everything, and still knows and loves, more than loves, it is us. And then I realized how this tied in Mother Earth, like the ultimate divine, defined feminine, redefining femininity, because that's what this next bit is about, is Mother dot Earth dot. Look to her actions to understand divine feminine, your own femininity, feminine side, and its power, not to human ideas or stereotypes. She is expansive. She is devastating. She is transformative. And she is a gentle, soft, and solid home. All of those energies and more lie in each of us as well. We have collectively feared this part of ourselves, and that's okay. It takes the time that it takes to come back to our fullest selves. And that's probably why this is the planet that we are on currently in this time period of, you know, the universe experiencing itself through different physical forms. To learn from her, align more in symbiosis to her, see ourselves in her and with her instead of on her. Beauty that feeds the soul, hungry souls. That was the last thing. So I looked down and I just got this, like, I don't find this particularly beautiful, but it was like the last massive shout out about all of what's needed, what needs to be said here is about beauty. And that not being anything to do with like your physical beauty or conventional attractiveness or anything like that. It's about how beauty feeds the soul. It's about like listening to the most inner depths of what it is that you and your most authentic self craves from life, from the world around you, from your own creativity. And just find out what that is. Bring it into the world, find more of it, surround yourself with more of it. Like, it doesn't have to be nature, but I'm definitely getting dried leaves for some reason. And like the crunching sound of dried leaves. And we're coming into spring here in the Northern Hemisphere, so I don't know what that's about, but either way, what I find beautiful, what you find beautiful is going to be different. And all of our ideas of what is heaven on earth are completely different from the person beside us. And that used to freak me out because I was like, how the fuck are we going to make everybody happy? Oh my God. Like, there's so many perspectives. I don't know why that was my thought at 21. Yes, I do. It's because I'm me, and this is this is where it led me. Because we're each individual parts of the universe that have expressed itself into being in a human form, and all of the says that all of us have individually matter. And like, I think it's overwhelming in a way to think about listening to all of those people and like finding space. Like, how do we serve all of that? But I'm going to change the question, and how do we create a world that caters to all of that, all of those people, all of their needs and wants and desires of their souls? And I'm not going to shove an answer down your throat. I have ideas, but a lot of it has to do with living in alignment with your highest good, whatever that looks like for you. I did feel like I'd have to pull some cards at the end of this. Yeah, okay. Hang on. I'm going to have to take this off. Yeah, alrighty. So, for anyone looking for guidance after that message, I do apologize if the sound was very hard to hear right there and then. Ooh, shiny. Angels. If anyone's looking for any guidance, words of, ooh, yep. We need this one. No, that's not the one I wanted, but interesting. Maybe it's the one I needed. Come here. Okay. What have you to say? Ooh. Archaea faith? I forget the word. Apparently there's a word for like a female archangel, or like the sidekick. I don't know exactly whether, I'm sorry for calling you that. Okay. Michael's kind of like dual self version, as in Archangel Michael, is Faith. So I'm gonna ask her because I feel as though she's maybe the person to go with on this one. Faith, please give us a card. A jumping card. No, okay. 2 shuffles and it's gonna be the top one. All right. Thank you. Two of Ariel. It's important to have balance, working multiple jobs or projects at once, making work fun. Okay, yeah. There's like a duality and a balancing act, and we have like both a masculine and a feminine form, and funnily enough, we actually have pillars that are made out of a feminine form as well. Um, the lot of imagery that feeds into exactly this message here. But I'm thinking that this is speaking about like bringing all of this energy and these thoughts and this way of living into your everyday life, one way or another. Um, and it's not going to look the same every day. I speak from experience. Like, some days when you are in your most, like, enthusiastic and positive mindset, the world is not going to come match your energy, and things are going to test it one thing after another. And, like, don't be hard on yourself if you don't stay at that same ridiculously high vibration all day, because it's not about always maintaining, like, an energy or a front as if you are in heaven on earth. This is more about like reshaping what that looks like. It's not necessarily retirement after life as we know heaven. Heaven is the love. Whoopsie, sorry if I'm at loud noises. Is that expansive love, acceptance feeling, and like living that for yourself first, then others, because where we're at, that just is the way that it needs to be for now. Um, and I think particularly as well because it is a time of transformation of specifically contracts, because Venus is currently in retrograde, and there will bring like transformation as far as like relationships and such, but it does have to do. It's the ruling planet of Taurus, which brings the focus to home, to safety, to structures, to what you enjoy and indulge in. Like, so this is like day to day and also kind of a little bit of a long term thing. It's like a mid length as far as things that like you look into. But one of the things that are day to day and that like um, have to do with contracts and allow in the Venus is your work and the thing that you do that like, brings you wealth. And if there needs to be changes and shifts in that because something will align better with your version of yourself as you are allowing more of your divine feminine to be a part of your world, then that's going to be okay. And maybe it just takes the time that it takes. I hope that it is like an easy transfer if anything happens as far as monetary, ease not being like fucked with. But there's light shining on you. You're supported here. Um, and a balance also, I would say, between the material world and the things that you take part in and want for yourself in that way, and also with the spiritual. And I'm going to look at the bottom of the deck as well. And we have the Nine of Raphael. Oh, and interesting, the King of Michael, like, picked up with that. I'll read it after. Make a wish, dreams become reality, a joyful time of life. Yeah, continue to ask for and move towards what it is that you want for your okay, there's guardian here. There's literally a beach where I'm like, oh, it's not like retirement. You'd be chilling. Also, I think this guy looks like Dwight from The Office, which always brings a little bit of comedy to this, where it's like, that dude is gonna show up if he says that he's gonna show up. Do you know what I mean? And Raphael specifically is the archangel that rules our heart chakra and matters of the heart, and this is a Nine of Cups, so there is like massive emotional fulfillment in enacting balance between your material and spiritual, in like integrating the softness, the transformation, the space for flow, um and allowing things to be what they are, and knowing that you are exactly where you're supposed to be, centered, ground. Feed in grass if you have any near you, or like even get some soil or something to put your feet in. I did get this other card here. which just came up with it, which is the King of Michael. So he wanted to have an interjection and a say anyway. We have some more mountains in the background, which is just like, there is some great heights that we're moving to here. But this is the King of Swords. Respected, ambitious, rational, principled. Wisdom and objectivity are important now. Stay in your integrity. A situation that calls for honesty and open communication. Continue to be honest with yourself through this. Integrity really stands out to me here because that is so much about, like, as we move forward and like build trust within our own selves, um that we'll catch ourselves, that will be there for ourselves, that will build a dream life for ourselves, that we will be the one that is creating heaven on earth no matter what everyone else is around us is doing. That therefore then we are a human knowing that other humans are doing this. We're supporting ourselves and the energy in the energy grid that we're a part of to like work towards stuff like that. We're creating a world one after another that acts that way. But it takes integrity. It takes doing it even if no one else is looking, doing it even when you're not necessarily seeing benefits right away, when, you know, you have to call on faith because that's all you got. Like, it takes integrity. Um, but know that you are always seen. You are always being thanked for doing this work. But like when it's not from another human or the world around us, sometimes it can be very difficult to actually, you know for sure that it's working or that it even matters that you're doing this. Fucking matters. It matters. It matters. It matters. Always matters. Every single thing. Always, always, always. Really, really, really matters. But then what beautifully sits on the other side of that is like, everything is just what it is also. Let's not go further down that. Okay, the one that I got for this is the gift, which I just got and reread yesterday. So obviously there's, it's collective energy. This is a like root chakra and soul star chakra. Like it's basically the like our bottom chakra and then a very, very like the top one that connects us to like the divine or spirit team, like the thing that it filters through becomes before it gets into the crown. And there's like a unity between the two of us, and there is like this elegance and gentleness in the swan, this energy of just kind of like regalness and ease and slow movement and flow big time. And the umbrella is protection, but it is covering both of them from snow, which in itself has a lot to do with like divinity and gentleness and stuff, but also like can be very destructive, so a bit of the Mother Earth energy there. But there is this little white box here in the kid's hand, which has like no descript obviousness to it. It's got a little string around it. It is the unknown. It's the unknown, and what you don't know is there's a gift coming. Beautiful. The future is a gift. Tomorrow is a gift, or today is a present. One of those things. But even more specifically, like, you may see what's ahead of you at any given time as anything. But if you picture it as this little gift wrapped, like, oh, that's so exciting. It's like actually the description of the card had to do with like the anticipation that you have before you open a gift, before you know what it is, but you know that it's something that like someone thought about and then bought for you. And like, there's only positive connotations in that moment. Bring that energy to the unknown, to what's coming to you, to what tomorrow brings, to what your future looks like, to what, the things that are the challenges that are coming towards you, because there's as much challenge as there is wins. But with the perspective, like seeing it all as gifts, seeing every lesson as a gift, that massively shifts your experience here on Earth. And that's a low plane. And herein ends the read for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, thank you for being on the planet at this time. I love you very much. Bye.